Don't allow them to entice you to spend your wealth by keeping it in intangible assets that are going away. Because if you can only convert them into dollars or euros or yen, wherever you are in the world, when those lose all value, what do you have? Trillion times zero is zero. In 1973, there was a shift. Well, let's see, was there another shift in 1970? Yes, we know. We went off the gold standard and central banks took full control of inflation. I remember when they created the system to begin with, corporations wanted to have the ability to pay their workers less and less. But hey, if you're getting $10 an hour, you're not going to accept 5. But if you could make that $10 spend like 5 with the rest of it going to the top, well, then they have succeeded. So that was part of the plan right out of the chute with the fiat money system, this government debt-based system. And you can see, even now, with wages rising the fastest that they have since God knows when, but they're still not rising fast enough to keep pace with inflation. But hey, corporate profits are, you saw that. Corporate profits are doing great. It's not going to save this market, though, because it's built on a house of cards and a lie. International Monetary Fund Managing Director, blah, blah, blah. The Russian sovereign debt default is no longer an improbable event. Well, guess what? If Russia defaults on that bond, that means that the corporations will also default. Whoever they owed the money to, the bond money to, is also likely to default. And let's see, where are those things being held? Oh, money markets, mutual funds, ETFs, all those ESG funds. So whether you realize whether or not you own it and you think, well, that's over there and this is here. No, this is here too, because we are all globally interconnected. Because all of these debt contracts are also turned into financial products. So first they do the physical, and then they also do the contracts, derivatives. This is really why you see the markets going crazy, because it's all based on collateral, it's all based on interest rates, it's all based on cheap and free money. And that may be shifting. I'm not saying for sure, because I don't think they can really do it. But non-revolving consumer loans, REITs, commercial mortgages, asset-backed securities. And by the way, an asset-backed security, I guess the term asset can be used in many different ways. But what do they do with any of these things? Those that are in position, so closest to the central banks, so other banks, other non-bank financial firms, etc., they go out into the markets and they borrow the money to create these products, and then they sell these products back to you. What skin do they have in the game? None. You have all the skin in the game. Everybody always wants to know about silver? Okay. Well, I find it quite interesting that the contract, the spot contract on silver, which enables the markets to believe that there's a whole lot more silver in the world that exists and actually does exist. That started in 1963, and the Silver Coinage Act, where they removed silver from the coin contact, that was passed in 1965. And what did President Johnson threaten? That anybody that attempted to hoard silver, they would destroy them. Here is our president admitting to manipulating the markets, and somehow, magically, that was okay. I mean, a lot of things that have happened, it's amazing to me that they're okay. But when they created the gold futures, that was 1974, after they took us off the gold standard. And really what they did was they handed the full control of inflation to bankers, private bankers. Global health has been financialized. Used to be, you went to your doctor, you had one doctor, maybe he was the doctor that when you were born, maybe he delivered all of your, or she delivered all of your babies. But today, all of those doctors, or most of them, have been bought up and been put into conglomerates, and they've been sold as they've been then turned into contracts and sold, financialized. And how many choices do we have? And can you just go see your doctor if you have insurance? No, I don't think you can do that. You have to get approval. They have to get recommendations. The care has gone down and the costs have gone up. Those that have access to cheap funding, they borrow, they create this, then they pass that risk on to you. They are turned into financial products and sold to you. So at the end of the day, they're getting paid and you're taking the risk. I don't know. Does that sound fair to you? Sounds great to me. Because the highlights are, interestingly enough, increased in the pharmaceutical industry since 1980. Maximizing shareholder value is a key concern for pharmaceutical companies. What about the health of the patient? All right, we'll look at that in a second. Neoliberal economic policies support and protect the pharmaceutical industry. Do they not grant waivers so that they are not held liable? Have we not just experienced that quite a bit? Yes, they are. They are granted anonymity. They are held harmless for any harm that they do. Not any. There are certainly some lawsuits, but there are workarounds. And who's really paying for that? Is it really the pharmaceutical company or the general stockholders? And financialization has pushed executive pay and drug prices way, way up. Global health is increasingly reliant on financial markets. Do you really think that financial markets give a crap about your health? I don't think so. I think financial markets care about shareholders up at the top, not at the bottom, but up at the top. How many times do I get the question about, why, if everybody's buying gold and silver, why are gold and silver markets going down? Well, it's the spot market. It's a contract market. You give bankers the task of doing something, particularly when you give them the control of it, well, there are going to be a few at the top that win and many at the bottom that don't.